I would say like it's not overly action packed. So if you like like even the scandal, so obviously she gets a divorce in the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and then she's like snubbed out of society and
Mm-hmm.
kind of dealing with that. But then there's a bunch of mini stories on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Hi everyone, I'm Cade,
And I'm Kit,
and we're real people.
doing real reviews. Mm-hmm.
We are on
Our continuation.
continuation of season 4, top 25 from 25.
Mm-hmm.
And this week we are doing a drama. What are we
Mm-hmm.
doing?
We did Downtown Abbey, the finale.
Downtown Abbey?
Downton Abbey.
The grand finale.
Which I was
Downtown. Kind of different.
some I guess that's true. Sometimes I'm like, I am from Nova Scotia, and you can just hear that in my voice. Yeah, I was really interested to watch this movie because I've never watched the series. Obviously, it ran forever. Very,
Yes.
very famous actors were created from this series, and I
Mm-hmm.
like British humor and deadpan type humor where it's just space
Yeah.
afterwards. Like nobody does that like the English, you know? And
Very
so
true,
I was
yes.
excited to watch it. How long was it?
This movie, I mean, we're really not doing ourselves any favors this
Mm-mm.
season, watching very, very long movies.
Yeah.
This movie was 2 hours and 3 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
But I think well worth it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
And, you know, it's snowy here. We're in Canada. We had some soup and some grilled cheese. And, you know, you had a coffee. Like, you know,
Yeah,
we were
doing the
doing things.
things.
It was good. Yeah. What did it get rated by critics?
So it was a 91% on the Tomatometer and a 95% on the Popcornmeter.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
So quite high.
Everyone loved it
Yeah. And
for the most part.
do you think people loved it because they have grown to know and love this IP and like these characters? Or do you think that they loved it because it was just a great movie?
Maybe a bit of both. I would
Yeah.
say because I did watch the series beforehand, so there's already a bunch of character development.
Mm.
However, you coming into it fresh, there was no hard critiques, and you were just like really good.
Yeah.
I think they did a good job. If you didn't watch the series or anything and knew the characters, you easily fell into kind of the storyline of what they were doing, as well as the acting was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I think where I enjoyed it a bit more was because of the backstories on everybody and kind of seeing them in these kind of new roles progress. Because realistically, it's like an age progression of everybody. So we've seen like them kind of grow up from like child, adolescence until now with this kind of next chapter of a new generation of people. So
yeah.
I would say like
sense.
yeah, absolutely. I think there's a mix of both.
Mm-hmm.
I think from a movie perspective, I think also it is a pretty good movie.
Yeah, I think the top to bottom of it didn't need explaining. There was a few things that are maybe it would have been helpful to know. Like I didn't know where the lead female character's son was from, if it was from the recent divorce or something else. I didn't know some of those little details. It wasn't super necessary to the storyline, but it was good. And then the overall arch of the film is that it's different storylines of different couples and their progression in society in the 30s, 20s, 30s. Yeah. And you know, the long history of these like lords and ladies and their lineage and what's acceptable, and onboarding some family members from the States and the things that have changed and grown and where things are now. And so because it was so obviously like this is a new era for all of these different people that are retiring or having children or in a new like life, then you just caught on to that kind of watching it, not knowing the series. And yeah, I thought it was like really, really lovely. We were gonna read some critics.
Yes. So one critic, Michael Cook from KLR TV, said it's a comfy pair of slippers. 5 stars.
5 stars. Well, I love a comfy pair of slippers. I travel with slippers.
Yeah. And then from an audience perspective, Brad T,
Mm-hmm.
rated it at 1.5 stars.
Oh, no.
And said they should have ended it with the family leaving. Mary showed bad judgment the entire film and was rewarded Queen of Downton Lane. So he just didn't like the storyline. But it took me a while to find that one, which everyone had very nice things to say.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of love that she was still celebrated amongst having mistakes and kind of exercising some humanity. I think that, especially in that era, in that time, as a socialite or being part of society in that way, that it was so restrictive, and then the rules around how you accepted people were so tightly laced. So a film that had different like showcases of people not accepting and then finding ways to accept was kind of a refreshing take on like making room for somebody. And
I also think that holds true to kind of what's going on in today's society, and kind of like encapsulating the woman as like the center figure in the whole movie, as well as, you know, she's not perfect, but she's the right person for the job. And then how all of the women kind of came together in their own way to help propel her forward in kind of different ways that are not like thought about in terms of like bulldozing people or kind of just saying this is the way it is.
It was done
cleverly. Yeah, absolutely.
As women are.
And as well as like the side characters too. I think there was a lot of like side stories that they kind of commented on or kind of talked about that I think still hold true to today.
Yeah.
So I think it was a very relevant kind of movie period piece, but I think like that actual story probably goes on today as well.
I agree. I think especially one of the topics that was brought up from a few different angles was the idea of when you're finished your career and it's time to retire, or it's time to just enjoy your marriage, or and how there's a time, like a period where you feel a little lost because you have worked and done things a certain way for 30 years of your life or more, and so it was interesting seeing that acted out, like how like somebody acting out bored at home, you know, because they're not quite sure what to do themselves. So then they find themselves like back near their employer because they were like, well, I'm just double checking, but really it's because like they don't know what to do, because that's nobody really coaches you through that next phase. And unless it's we're going to enjoy our marriage and that's like the next phase, but it's not explained further. So I thought that was really interesting. Like,
I unfortunately don't know what that's like. So I think they did a great job of acting that out. Yeah. But yeah, I could see that would be
difficult
if you don't have anything. I'm sure the same thing happens too if like empty nesters when kids leave.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Like where you're so used to running on like pick up and drop off and this and their sports and their friends and their, you know, are you parenting enough, and also setting a good example and your career. And then all of a sudden it's like you're established in your career, you know the lay of the land unless you've done something new, and then your children are out of the house, and so you find yourself being like, oh, I have more room, more time. And what does that mean? And what is being a parent now? And what does that mean? Right? I guess those little phases in life. It's interesting to me when films depict like everyday scenarios where it's nothing was like, yes, there was a little scandal that we like kind of talked about, but everything else was just very true to like living your everyday life and having dinners and your friendships and your sisterhood and your family, and how you deal with things as a, you know, in a marriage or in a family. And it was how people get ideas, what's exciting, what isn't exciting. I thought it was just very relatable. And also the way that they insult each other or enjoy each other, I thought it was so well written. It's just very funny. I think it's just clever humor. It just so gets me. I laugh more at things like this. Like I laughed more at these than the comedies. And I was like, oh my God, did you see that? He just looked at her after she asked that question. That was hilarious. I like the underacting. I think it's just very like I think it lands because there's more reality rooted in that to me.
Yeah. I think also with it being a period piece, just the dying art of like old traditions and verbiage And you even commented on it the way that he said that he enjoyed him as like being someone that could be his friend. And saying it in longer words that
it's more poetic.
Yeah.
I think that as somebody, I was a big reader. I still am. And when you really enjoy language, when you watch a period piece, the way that they describe a friendship, the way they describe agreeing with somebody, it's just very, it sounds poetic. It sounds like so beautiful. And it's a lot of it's just being polite in the way they're describing things, but there was just so much more use of the language because nothing was really that casual then. Right. And so I think I appreciate the language choices because I think I love language and I love like how things are broken up. And so anybody who's like an English lit fan is going to be like, yeah, me too.
Me too.
Me too. I love reading. Books are great. I love, I'm someone who buys a few poetry books a year. So I think, I'm definitely going to lean towards this. I think that it's also why when you are so used to all of this beautiful flowery language, when you're saying that you enjoy something, when somebody doesn't enjoy something and they'll use 2 or 3 words, it's so much more hilarious and also more cutting, which I love. And
yes,
because they'll be like, "Oh, isn't it?" When like they're disagreeing, and then it just hangs in the air because it's not said in a polite way, and I'm like, God, that's hilarious! Like, just really great. Also, bravo to the writers. I just think that it's, I think about that. Like, let's say if we were to akin this to Bridgerton, which I know that's more of a TV series, but still era, still society, a little further along. I just think that they use some flowery language, but they didn't really commit to it, where this is really committed. And I'm like, God, there's a lot more humor to the deadpan, like the air that hangs in between, which is tremendously acted, and the actors are amazing. I said to you with the lead actress in the first 10 minutes, I was like, if she in the series the whole time, oh my gosh, she's a tremendous actress, holy. And but never got to enjoy her work because I'm not a TV person. So cool way to experience the story as a more of a film, like movie person than a TV person.
I could also see potentially them doing like a new, I mean, they left it in a way that they could do like a next kind of gen storyline. With some of the characters. I think we kind of live in a world where there is several reboots going on. 20 years later, we are doing several reboots of movies that all of us grew up with, and they're taking new spins on them and doing things. So I could probably see maybe in 20 years, we'll see
more
Downton Abbey.
More downtown. Or more like
you're still calling it
downtown.
Downtown Abbey. Well, that's because they're gonna have neighbors.
Right. Downtown. I also think
the 1950s. We got a neighbor.
We got one neighbor. But maybe another series spinoff with the mom and the child, and seeing what happens.
The parents going into old age.
I think it would continue. Again, I'm pretty sure that series ran forever. Totally.
So, they made lots of money.
Yeah, very happy.
Which also makes sense why it was so popular for 2025 is because they built this fan base and kind of giving fans what they want and kind of wrapping it up in kind of a very nice bow for like the next generation.
Yeah, I would agree. I also think that when you're working with an established fan base, that there's a lot of pressure. So for it to be like a 21 Tomatometer and 25 Popcornmeter, like brava, because that's really difficult to live up to a finale, right? You see that all the time with series, like where people are unhappy with the wrap up, and so to do something that lands with audience and the fan base is really hard to do. So great job, I guess for you, like if you were to not know anything about the series and to like look at recommending this to somebody, like what would be the type of person who you think would like this type of drama?
Well, I think it is a drama, yes, but I think everybody's kind of fascinated with like the queen and like lords and ladies and that sort of time period. So I think it lands kind of across kind of multiple sectors. It's very easy watching. We enjoyed it today. Obviously, it's not nice outside, so
perfect day to sit down for 2 hours. Watch some
sit
Downton
down, and there's a lot going on in it, so like it holds your attention quite well.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I would. I don't know if I'd watch it again, but I didn't hate it.
No.
That sounds harsh. I think I'd probably, I think anybody who likes a period piece, I think it's well worth it.
Yeah.
I would say like it's not overly action packed. So if you like like even the scandal, so obviously she gets a divorce in the movie, and then she's like snubbed out of society and kind of dealing with that. But then there's a bunch of mini stories on the side. It was more a story about kind of passing the torch to the next generation more than anything, but it wasn't like the peaks and valleys. It was more kind of even keeled through the whole movie.
I would agree. I felt like if I were to pick a theme or an undertone for the movie, it's that it's never really the perfect time. Like it's just never really the perfect time.
Oh, that's a good way to. Good
Oh,
job. Wow.
Look at that.
Okay.
It's like
it's
I'm
never
a
the
critic
perfect
or something.
time. Yeah.
It just never is because everyone knows they have to move forward. And nobody's ever really quite ready. It's never really quite the perfect time in the person who's getting the torch, even potentially.
Yeah.
And even if they've earned it, it's like she earned every ounce of this torch getting passed to her, but same year of her divorce. Oh gosh.
Yeah. To add to that, change is inevitable. And you gotta, I think she says it in the movie, you have to keep marching forward.
Yeah.
Like in order to survive, you got to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Which is true. Like, her dress maid is pregnant and they're discussing what's happening there. There's, all of these other kind of smaller storylines, people retiring, people like moving in with their partners for the first time.
So cute.
Yeah. So there's lots going on for sure across kind of the full movie, and like change is rapidly happening, I would say, probably through the whole movie, and it's how people are reacting to that change. Yeah. Which I think is maybe the appealing part of the movie.
Yeah, because it's of course you're happy for the next person, but then you're a human, right? That is going through the grief of losing that position that they had earned and been in, and even acknowledging it's the right move. It's still, painful, which I think isn't that change, right?
Yeah.
And because how often have you been in conversations with somebody and they're like, oh, I hate change, or they love change, like because they don't have a reliance there, and usually people are so violently opposed, right, when it comes to change. And I'm like, I think it's it's both. It's both. It's like, yes, acknowledging an exciting new future, an exciting new chapter, but also, you can grieve like the behind you, and probably the fan base thinks that about these characters, this film, this thing that has been a part of all of their lives, and now it's wrapped and done, and a lot of their characters are gone. And so, I thought it was really great. Love that they dedicated it to a previous main cast member. And that was really beautiful. They did a great
job. Very well.
Yeah.
Very pretty.
Gorgeous set dressing. Yeah. Very, really, really good. Perfect, like historical, like winks and nods to the hemlines and the haircuts and the like very on point, but then a little elevated, for cinematic reasons, which I love it. Yeah. I think, really well done.
Did a good job.
Yeah. What would we rate it, do you think, overall?
Ooh.
Just as a reminder, we are rating out of 5 now that we are on the road for Rotten Tomatoes, and so we're doing the standard 5 stars.
5 stars. I think I'd probably rate it at 3.5.
You would give it a 3.5. Okay.
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah?
What would you do?
I mean, I would.
Oh, well, we have to agree on this. So.
Yeah, here we are. So you guys are seeing the behind the scenes of us getting to that rating. To me, it was a 3. Yeah. Not much change. And I would recommend it. Like, it would be a film I would recommend, especially because I do have people who love a period piece, love a Jane Eyre, movie, love. Also, there's something to be said too about a film that it's family friendly, and it's not for small children, but like, it's not swearing, it's not ridiculous, it's not these things. It's comfortable to watch with your mom and dad as an adult, and so Yeah, I think there's something to that. So I would say 3. I don't think it gets a 0.5 for me. It wasn't interesting enough.
So I say the 0.5 because I think it did a great job of wrapping up the full series.
Yeah, you have the series lean because you have more tie-in and more commitment to the characters.
Because at the end they do kind of like some nods. She's standing in the house by herself and she's seeing like past characters.
Yeah, and you were explaining them to me and I was like, oh, and I was like excited. Like I'm interested to watch the series because of the movie. So that's something to be said. Okay, I'll give the 0.5 for that.
All right. Wow.
All right. 3.5.
That was way easier than I thought.
Not a fight. If you are watching on a broadcast channel, just continue. You will see our next one. And if you are listening on anywhere you listen to podcasts, please rate, review, give us stars, and helps us with our qualification. And you can also find us on social media
at Cade and Kit.
Bye guys.